All right, here we go. Vibesters, vibrant ones, welcome to a one-on-one interview we are doing with two people that I appreciate, right? The reason why we're doing this interview today is because this is going to be a part of our health and lifestyle section, and what we're going to speak about is being vegan, right? Wiz, how you doing?
I'm great, General. How you doing, Dr. Freezer?
General, captain of the captains.
Yes, captain. Captain.
All right. So let me get into who you guys are, right, and why it's important to me that you guys be here and share briefly about how you met and how you started down this path, right? So let me ask. I'm gonna just ask that. So how did you guys meet?
Oh, great story, actually.
It's a hilarious story.
Right. So this is, of course, the wife, and I said before, not my daughter. I've had someone joke like that before. This is PaSean, Wilson, Ashley, and so been together since the May 3rd, 1987. That's the day we met.
1987. Correct. We met at a Phyllis Hyman concert at the Blue Note.
Really?
Yes, it was kind of a blind date. My sister and I were at a party the night before, and a guy that she met at the party said he had a friend who had extra tickets to a Phyllis Hyman concert at the Blue Note. Would we like to go? So we went, and
Phyllis Hyman, and the answer was obviously yes.
Yes,
because it's Phyllis Hyman. Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't really connect with. It's kind of a blind date, but not really a blind date. It wasn't really. But anyway, long story short, I asked him if he would give up his seat so that someone I knew could sit with the party of us.
Right.
And he was kind enough to give up his seat.
Right.
And then at some point during the end, you came back. I guess a seat became available, and our stories are going to be different, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
and a seat became available.
Right. I didn't give him my seat. We just rearranged the seating.
Yeah.
I was right there. I actually planned on going with a friend of mine, female friend of mine. And when my friend told me that he met these two Howard University ladies, Howard, HBCU.
Right.
I was single, very single, because I was actually had stopped dating for a while because I'm looking for more established, mature, intelligent woman. New York City has a lot wide range.
Man, you are wisdom. You are good at this, bro. You are good at being married, bro. I can tell.
Thank you.
So, it's been a long time.
Right. a lot of practice.
A lot of
training.
Right, a lot of training, right.
Exactly.
But at the end, I thought it was very sweet because it was raining. It was a rainy night, and he offered to get a cab for me.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's nice. I've been dissing him all night. Not paying no attention to him. He wants to take me home in a cab. That's nice.
Right.
So he took me home, and we've been together ever since.
I took it to Upper East Side of Little Spanish Harlem, right?
Spanish
like 103rd and and like.
I was living with my voice teacher at the time because I started out in musical theater. I've done some Broadway productions and background singing and stuff like that. So I was living with my voice teacher at the time in East Harlem. And he, he came home with me in the cab, and we've been together ever since.
And I lived in Brooklyn, in East Flatbush at the time. So I had to go all the way back to East Flatbush after that. So the big sacrifice for me to do that.
Yeah, financially, yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, he was balling. I thought he was rich.
I was working in IT.
Yeah.
And was making a little change. I was at my parents' house, my mom's house. I wasn't paying any rent. So all my income was just going to go out to the theater, Phyllis Hyman shows. Whitney Houston, saw her at her first show on the pier. Oh, yeah? So, I was, Sissy Houston waved to me. I was thinking, I'm going to be your son-in-law. That was a lot. Back in the 80s.
That was a long time ago, right?
Long time ago.
Man, yeah. So I think we all go through that stage where we have to find ourselves. I went through that post-military. Like after I got out of the military, I was on this meandering road of trying to figure out who I was going to become as a person. Because I didn't have any standout talents. Like I couldn't sing, or so I thought. I didn't have any talents. I didn't have any standout talents. Like I couldn't act, I couldn't sing, I couldn't cook, couldn't dance. Didn't have anything. The one skill that I could point to and say, hey, I can make money off of this, right? But come to find out, I had a passion that was actually a talent. Like so what I do is I write, right? Like what I'll do is like I have a bunch of novels and transcripts that I've written that I hadn't shared with the world yet. I probably have about 6 or 7 of them. It's like just like a secret passion of mine. So I understand what you're saying, Wiz, when you say that when you're at that stage in your life. But let me ask this, right? There was a question I wanted to get to early on. Let me see if I can find it. Because when I asked, I was like, okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing I wanted to. I didn't send it in a list of questions beforehand, but you mentioned it, and it just and it gets me to a point I feel like I have to ask. Right? Is exploring the way that you eat or being a vegan come from, say, the way that your family ate, or was it because of you had a talent in other areas and people in that area and lifestyle were vegan? I guess what I'm asking is like, how did you get into being a vegan?
That's actually, both are true. My mother, I was born in 1961, and we lived in East Harlem for a period of time. And my mom was the only one in East Harlem who was growing wheatgrass on paper towels and feeding us vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian diets, like exploring different diets other than the standard American diet.
Right.
So I kind of, was in my family. My mother was just way ahead of her time, always way ahead of her time.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to it, because not a lot of, people of color were exploring that type of eating.
No.
And then, being a singer, when I got out of Howard University, I was living with my voice teacher, and she was a raw food vegan. And so she would basically tell me which foods were best for your voice and for your body, so that you can not have a lot of mucus, you're not always clearing your throats, and you can hit higher notes, etc. And so she really talked to me about eating, vegan and raw vegan, so that my instrument would be really clear. So it was both. It was my mom, who was way ahead of her time, who introduced us to that type of eating. And we didn't stay vegan with my mom. She was vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian. We kind of went back and forth, but she's the one who introduced that particular type of eating to me. And then my voice teacher, she just kind of, she would correct my singing in the shower. I'm in the shower, like, you're flat, so never with your voice teacher. But yeah, so she really kind of brought it home for me, that was the best way of eating.
Did you get I'm looking for, I want to find a word that's different from ostracized. Did you find people knowing your diet, did they look at that as being strange, like peculiar? And I'm talking about in the late 60s, early 70s.
No. First of all, a lot of people didn't know how we ate,
Okay.
Yeah, so, because it was mostly at home. We ate food that my mom prepared, or one time she went out to work and she hired someone to cook vegetables and stuff for us. But none of our friends really knew what we ate. It wasn't like a whole lot of socializing and stuff going on at that time, because I was so young, when we started. So, no. And then, birds of a feather kind of flock together.
Right.
So you kind of are attracted to like-minded people. Right. So I never really had to deal with a lot of naysayers or people questioning what you doing and stuff like that. I have talked to other people who said they had to deal with that. But I didn't really have to deal with that. People, were very supportive, or they had questions, or they were curious about what I was doing, but I didn't get a lot of like, why are you doing that?
What time? What year? Around what year was that you're speaking to? I'm interested because okay, so my family is deep South Southern folks from the Carolinas, right?
Oh, my family's from the Carolinas too. My mom is from South Carolina. My dad is from North Carolina.
Really? Which parts?
Orangeburg, Bamberg, Denmark, South Carolina,
right?
Gastonia, North Carolina.
Oh, okay. All right. So I lived in Rocky Mount, North Carolina for 2 years, and my pops' family, and I don't want to tell the story. Well, I guess I have to now. But my pops' family is from Fairfield County, right? Winsboro, Jenkinsville. That area, the area, Winsboro, Jenkinsville, Newberry, Union, all the way back towards Columbia. So, and my son went to a school in Orangeburg for the summer called Claflin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so, but he wound up attending Clemson University, right? But ultimately he went to Clemson and did his thing. So, but the point I was getting at is being from the deep South, or not even deep South, but being from the Carolinas, they ate traditional.
They did, yeah.
Traditional stuff. Like, and if you ate different, they judged you on it.
Well, when I was younger, until like I got out of college, when I really started being strict, and by that time, people, it wasn't that weird. We were kind of flexitarian, like I said. We were vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian. So when we would go down south,
flexitarian,
we would be flexitarian. Yeah. We didn't. What stood out is that we didn't eat pork, and because I was the oldest sibling, I was responsible for reading the ingredients. So we would go to different relatives' house, and I'd say, I have. I was young. I have to read the ingredients. So I look at the ingredients to make sure it didn't have any pork in it. Right. And we were so young, so they didn't want to like really. Bully young kids for trying to do what their mama wanted them to do. And so, it was just kind of like that.
Plus their practice.
Yeah, I was Muslim at the time.
They grew up
in a nation of Islam.
And then Malcolm X. And they split up with Malcolm X.
Yeah, so
the pork aspect was already strict.
Exactly.
So did the belief system solely drive the diet? Like is
the no pork aspect of the diet.
Right.
Because even, in the Nation of Islam, people weren't vegan and vegetarian. We had stores called Steak and Take, and, it just had to be kosher, but you could definitely eat meat. So that's why my mother was so ahead of her time, because there weren't even other people in the nation, or a lot of people in the nation eating vegan or vegetarian. They were still eating pork. It just had to be prayed over. Beef just had to be prayed over, or chicken had to be, kosher or halal.
Halal, right.
But so my family knew we were Muslim, so they already knew we were going to be different. So when I came and I read the ingredients, it was cool. It was like, oh, look at this little girl reading ingredients before she eats something, or before she tells her brothers and sisters that they can eat.
Right, and so at this time, at that very young age, you offer a few things which I feel like would be a challenge to a young Black girl during times of upheaval in our nation. Now, I know a lot of people won't understand what I'm talking about, because times have changed, but they haven't, right? Time back then, we lived in a very turbulent time, right? Very, very turbulent. Like police brutality was just part of life. Yeah. Whether it was in Jersey City or in Brooklyn or Harlem or wherever, right? And a lot of things were considered weird. Like, why are you doing that weirdo stuff? Like for instance, understanding and accepting other people's cultures and religions and belief systems were not tolerated by us, not us, but by my family, because they believed in doing it one way and being disciplined in that one way, except when they didn't feel like it. Except when they didn't feel like it, then they would just get drunk and go party and do drugs whenever they felt like it. And then,
my mother was a small woman, but she was a feared woman. So my family would not mess with her or mess with any. And he's laughing because he knows my mom. She's little, but she was powerful. So they weren't gonna mess with us. But like, being Muslim, we would get teased when we would come home from school, and they would pull out our head, scarves off, and do stuff like that, and we would get bullied, as by other kids, but not so much for what we ate, but just because we were different, and people could tell by the way we dressed that we were Muslim. But when we were around our family, they might have said stuff to my mother, or maybe said stuff behind our back, but we were so young, and it was so cute, us really reading the ingredients and deciding what we could and couldn't eat, that our family was supportive. But I think there was one relative that did try to slip my little brother a ham sandwich.
They will try to do that.
I do remember that story.
right. And it's weird because you would think adults or people of age would be more responsible than that.
Right.
But no.
Yeah, no, I remember too, we didn't have perms. And I remember my mother took us to a relative's house to get our hair done, a beauty salon. And they tried to slip a relaxer. Yeah. I'm like, it's not like we can hide it when we go home and our hair is going straight and it don't get nappy when it gets wet. My mom gonna know that you did something. Right. But people would definitely, try to sneak some stuff in.
It was an odd time, right?
Yeah.
It was what was socially acceptable, and how people tried to, and Black people, which is odd, that tried to cater more to the mainstream. Yeah. Because trust, I know what nappy hair is, even though mine is gone. I know what nappy hair is, right? You know what I mean? Because I took pride in this thing called a natural. I had a hairstyle, and some people don't know what a natural is, but mine was like out the head. I was like a lollipop.
Did you have an afro?
I had a small afro. I didn't go too wide because I'm coming from Jamaica. Jamaica doesn't really have the afro. We were trying to go. If we grow our hair, then you go in locks. If you didn't grow your hair, you're faded. So,
right, yeah. And so that's one of the things that I had to deal with too. And I'm glad you mentioned Jamaica, because and I want to get back to the vegan thing, but it's very interesting to me that a lot of the ways in our cultures and the people that we occupy the same spaces with, is very interesting to me and others, how we occupy these same spaces. Like our people work at the same job, we shop at the same grocery store, we park our cars on the same street, we live right next door to people, and then their belief system can be so contrast to what we do, and they could live their life in their house so different than what we do. Like for instance, Thanksgiving for my family, being from down south, was all pork and bird based, right?
Yes.
Everything. Hey, if you ain't got a ham, what kind of Thanksgiving is this without a ham? And then I'm like, well, what kind of Thanksgiving is this without a turkey? No, we doing both.
Right.
So it's one of those things, and all, the same thing for Christmas. Christmas dinner is like the biggest spread of stuff that you people from Mid Carolina, just like you, my people from Mid Carolina, like stuff like hog maws and chitlins.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then now when I think
I
about
remember this. The smell is coming back to me.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I wish I could.
Smell of chitlins, and it was not good.
Oh God.
That was good. Nasty smell of stuff.
But if we didn't have it, though, it didn't seem the same. Right? I didn't eat that stuff, right? I didn't eat that stuff. But my family came from that. So now, fast forward to 2022, those same people, all of us around the same age, how your cousins and your sisters and brothers, everybody, cousins, all around the same age. And so we're looking at like retire, like we're at that place where we could probably retire in about 10 years, right? We're in that age group, like, and so they still speak the same way. Like they like, man, Freezer, I heard you vegan. What, you Muslim or something? No, man, I'm not Muslim. I'm vegan. It's just the way that I eat.
Yeah.
And so
it's almost
like
they're caught in a time warp. They don't realize that people have changed. It's like I was in Harlem walking, and this young man approached me, and anyway we started talking, and he just started saying stuff that sounded like somebody from the 30s or 40s was saying. I can't remember whether it had to do with like good hair or something
right.
that I thought we had evolved from.
Right.
And this was
right.
in Harlem. The guy was like 22 years old, and
right.
it was just so amazing that I guess his family had not, kind of graduated from that type of thinking. So that's all he knew, and he was still thinking like people don't think anymore. A lot of people don't think.
He was probably a product of his environment. He hear people speak like that every day, and so he think that's the norm.
Yeah.
My cousin asked me if my cousin was like, man, when you got out of jail, like, man, I ain't never been. What is he saying? Because I'm vegan means clearly I went to prison for 13 years and
changed my vegan?
Yeah, changed my religion in a way that
vegan culinary delights in prison.
Yeah, right. I know.
I think if you're in prison and you're vegan, you're gonna be eating some meat. Do they cater to different?
But you could probably, because they probably got Muslim or something.
I see.
Right.
I see. We didn't get too much. We weren't ostracized by our family too much, and like I said, it's probably because they were scared of my mama.
Well, that'll do it, because I'm still scared of my mother. My mother almost 80. I'm still scared of my mom right now. And my mom is not a little lady. My mom is about 5'11".
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was an athlete, so she had weird. She was weird, quick, twitchy. She could pop me in my lip before I know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Back then,
God.
But
now with your family, there's so much information. Like my younger brother, he just had a stroke.
Right.
I'm
sorry to hear about that.
Thank you. But totally connected to his diet and lifestyle.
Right.
So I had been trying to get him to change his diet, to watch a couple of movies that I thought would really influence him and give him some information that would help him make better choices. And he just, you don't do it. But once he had the stroke, I was like, Alpha, I want you to watch The Game Changers.
Right.
Have you seen that on Netflix?
I think I have.
Yes. So anyway, he watched it, and now because they had the doctors, they had the scientific proof, they had the studies, they had the athletes, they had the strongest man in the world, Arnold Schwarzenegger was on there, everybody, and they're all touting plant-based and the benefits of plant-based. Now he's willing to look at it because it came to him having a stroke for him to really even look at the things that I have been telling him to look at for years. So in terms of your family member, there's so many movies, What the Health, Cowspiracy, The Game Changer. I mean, there's tons of movies where you could just say, hey, you should watch this movie, and then they can see that they're kind of in the dark ages, not realizing that, we're trying to save the planet, we're trying to be healthier. There's so many different aspects of why it's, a good thing to explore eating things other than what we grew up eating. Right.
No doubt. I find myself in that weird time loop that you mentioned, but and also the thing I wanted to mention too is doesn't it seem like a lot of us need a life-challenging event to make a change?
Yes.
So a lot of us, it seems like we need that life-challenging event for us to understand our mortality in order for us to make a change. Yeah. And so I had that life challenging event 12 years ago when I was diagnosed with diabetes, right? So, but here's the thing. So I'm a big, strong man, right? Big, strong man, kind of 6'5" and some change, big dude, like to work out, lift weights, do all these things I hear Wiz say. I do these same things. I think I may do push-ups though. Wiz, you do push-ups?
Yeah.
I was a push-up king.
Oh, okay. Well, so we do the same thing. Maybe it's a military thing that's engraved in.
Right.
right? But so I was that guy, big, strong guy. All the time, people, like, hey man, such and such got a flat tire somewhere. I'll be over there in a minute. Go do all the big manly stuff. And then when it came time to eat, I would eat like that big, strong man. Except the older that I got, the less I started doing physically, right? And the more I started doing mentally. Like I would bring my sons. Oh, you got a flat tire? I'll send Rock over there to change the tire. And then I'll still go eat the same way. Right? And so what happened is, what happened was first I used to be winded, like, oh, man, I used to be getting out of shape. And then I saw the dad bod coming, like the belly. I'm like, what's wrong with this shirt? Like I look at
what's wrong with the shirt?
Yeah. I told my wife, like, hey girl, you shrunk my shirt. She like, no, I ain't shrunk your shirt. Yo, you just fat. Just like this is what she said. This is how she talked to me, right? I was, okay, so what happens is I was diagnosed with diabetes. I couldn't believe it, right? I was like, something wrong with this doctor. Something wrong with this hospital. I don't have no diabetes. I can still go. I'm Hercules. And so I went through an event, didn't pay any attention, had a recurrence. Back in the hospital, like, hey man, didn't we tell you you were diabetic? Didn't we tell you to change it? Oh man, okay. Then I talked to somebody, and so it took me like 5 or 6 times down this road before I was like, you know what? I am not a machine. Or let me say that different, because I think the body is a makeup of different systems and all that stuff. But the thing is, let me just say it this way. I had to learn that I had to kind of treat myself as if I were important.
Yes. Oh my God.
And I never did that before.
Yes.
Because nobody ever explained it to me. And I'll tell you how I got to that conclusion. And this is the reason why I asked the series of questions that I asked, right? What happened was everything was always, for me, I didn't know it at the time, even though I had white friends, everything was all blackety black for me. Everything was, it's just about these people around me. And what happened is all the people around me, they were doing it. They would eat fried chicken, French fries, and fried fish and hush puppies for dinner, and chase it with a Pepsi and eat bread and eat white bread with it.
Right.
And at the time I didn't notice that all that stuff, all the meat that we ate was fried. Even the sides were fried in animal fat. Right? And then I'm like, I mix it up with white bread and chase it with Pepsi.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, I need to change the way I eat, I had used what people had been saying to me for years. Man, you just need to cut back. Well, now that I'm older and educated, a little bit of poison is just like a lot of poison, right? So even if you're cutting back on the poison itself, you're still poisoning yourself.
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying? But I didn't have that mindset because of the people that I had been around.
Yeah.
They were going down the same road. And then they told me that they used to tell me like, well, diabetes is genetic. And then with the more research I did, I was like, no, it's not genetic. This has to be about lifestyle choices and changes and decisions that you make every day.
Right. Yeah, because all that means is that you have a genetic predisposition. So but you have to activate it. So you have that gene and it's dormant until you eat the same way as the past generations and you think the same way, which means you have stress, whatever. You do that same pattern, that's going to make that gene.
Lack of exercise.
Yeah,
ignoring your doctors.
Yeah, you not taking your medicine. Everybody else in your family did that had diabetes. Of course, you're going to get diabetes. But that's what happened with my brother, and that's what caused his stroke. He had diabetes.
Right.
And even after the stroke, he was like, the doctors have to tell me what caused the stroke. My sister's like, because you're overweight and you have diabetes.
Right.
Yeah, but he was like not cognizant of what caused it. But you know what got him to wake up and watch the movie that I encouraged him to watch? There was a guy next to him in a bed who had his foot amputated off because of diabetes.
Because of
He
diabetes.
was like that, and so my sisters were like, the stroke didn't wake you up. It was seeing somebody who lost their foot, but that's what it took. That's what it took.
Right. Well, and that's what it takes. That life challenging event is what forces us to think about our mortality.
Yeah, but we gotta get to a point where we because you don't know whether that life changing event you're gonna be there to witness it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got lucky. He had a stroke that just affected his speech, and he's gonna do speech. What is it when you
therapy, right? The
therapy, right?
Yeah.
And he'll be fine. But suppose it would have been one of those strokes that just takes you out.
To take him out of here, right?
Right. But yes, there are few people but I feel like it's a part of human nature because so many people need something to
because we're trained. We're trained to be that.
Yeah.
We're trained like you at an early age. We're trained to watch what you eat.
Right. But I'm the only person in my family who eats like this.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, and I think it was because when I lived with my voice teacher, so I had other people in my environment.
You had other reinforcements, okay?
Right, so that helped. So that's really what. And then when I came out to LA, it's just like birds of a feather flock together. I ended up getting in the tribe and so I've been able to maintain it. And whereas my family members, they're coming around though. This stroke woke up everybody, so everybody's watching the movies I told them to watch finally, and just starting to eat more plant-based things. Not saying I'm gonna become a vegan, but just incorporating more vegetables and fruits and healthy stuff and not fried stuff, and So he's
my family.
What happened to my brother's affecting the whole family in a positive way, and I'm glad it was a little tap as opposed to something that smacked him down for good.
Something more serious.
Exactly.
Even though that is serious.
Yeah.
A stroke is serious.
Oh, it is serious.
But we're happy that it wasn't I'm saying something more serious.
Exactly.
But I have some questions to ask, and I feel like I got to throw these questions away because the conversation organically led to different areas. Let me ask you this. Do you sometimes get frustrated when you offer these healthy lifestyle choices to people that need it and they turn you down? Now, I'm not talking about. Yes. I'm not talking about the guy next to you. I'm not talking about him.
My mind immediately went there, and that's why the side you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Right.
And you never know what is going to be that wake up call for anyone. So like my brother was having a stroke that woke him up, but I've been talking and doing and modeling this type of behavior for years. And you can talk, but that's not what affects people. It has to be something in their life that makes them say, okay, this is what I want to do. I had literally written a note in my iPhone and the notes, and it said, take Alpha. That's my brother. Take Alpha to True North. It's a health center that was kind of featured in Forks Over Knives.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
Forks Over Knives. And a lot of the doctors that were in that movie are at True North. And I had written notes, and this was in 2019. I wrote that note to take him to that place. And now, he had the stroke, and now he's talking to the doctors there, and they're trying to coordinate with his doctors in New York. So, yeah, I do get frustrated, to answer your question. But you just gotta let people come to it on their own. You can't make people do anything.
So I have a different question. And so it's not on the questions that I sent, right? But I think it's still something I feel like you guys can comfortably answer. When you get to what I struggle with is not the price of food.
Mm-hmm.
What I struggle with is the availability of foods, right? Because I have a freezer full. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I have a freezer full of broccoli right now.
Freezer full of broccoli?
Yeah, right. Yep. But you know what that means though?
What?
That means every once in a while I get tired of eating broccoli.
Right.
You know what I mean? See, I love broccoli, but when you eat broccoli like 5 days a week, 5 days out of 7, it's like if you don't eat it for dinner, you eat it for lunch.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I'm at a stage where I'm trying to find a healthy alternative as a vegan to just eating mainstream vegetables. And I know there are a lot of products on the market where you walk in your big box store, they have vegan this, vegan that, vegan this. But I also have to watch hidden stuff.
Right.
Like sodium. Like the salt in these things is crazy.
Yeah. But there's so much information that if we scan this apartment, you see I got about 50,000 books. You would think that there were no books on the internet.
Because you have them all.
I got 50,000 vegan books literally all around my house. And then there's YouTube videos now. There's, you know, what I eat in a day, a vegan bodybuilder. I mean, there's so much information out there where you can get. I'm a mono kind of person because my schedule is so crazy. So I'll like eat the same thing for weeks on end and I'm fine because I'm just eating for fuel and going. But there's so much. And one day, you open one of these books and I'm gonna have some fabulous vegan meals.
Right.
But you know, right now I'm, you know, pretty much edamame salad, you know, cucumbers and red onion and edamame. What else is it? It's like 5 ingredients: cucumber, edamame, red onion, and cilantro. So 4 ingredients, and then lemon juice. And I make that. I prep it. You know, like that meal prep thing. And I have that. And so I know I will have at least 4 days of salad. And then whatever else I can make on top of that, you know, I make. But I tend to make things that are easy, that are quick, that are fast. And I don't eat any of the fancy stuff that I know I could eat as a plant-based person.
What about, so here's I'll ask this and because I wanted to get into the dessert company. I want to get into that too. And for those of y'all watching, so I was sent, and listen, I was sent an excellent gift by my friends here, right? And so what I'm going to do is an excellent, a separate video, and it's a reveal video of what's in the tin, right? So I'm going to do a what's in the tin video, and just taste those, and give my honest feedback on all of those, right? And I'm looking at it like, oh God, dog it, I want to eat them now. And Miss Mocha, my wife, we've been together for like 30-something years. Miss Mocha, she's like, if you eat the stuff, how can you do the reveal? And I'm like, oh.
Well, you better eat it before it gets dry.
Forever,
because there ain't no preservatives and none of that stuff.
Right? No, we got. So we plan on. So we're setting up a thing over here. We're gonna try to do it tonight.
Well, it's funny about how I even got into being a vegan baker. I was the worst baker in my family. You know, that I had a brother who used to make bean pie. You know, he was a good Muslim brother, and he made some mean bean pie. And I had a grandmother who was a great baker. My mother was a great baker, and a sister who was a great baker. And I was the one, if I brought something, it was like kind of push it to the edge of the table.
Your dessert is over there by itself?
Huh?
Your dessert would be over on the edge of the table.
Yeah, like they push it and like hope it fall off the floor kind of thing. And then I don't know what happened, but interestingly enough, most of the people who are really good bakers in my family, they passed away. And I just feel like they left me a little woofer dust. You know that from South Carolina, woofer dust.
Right,
you know?
right.
And just all of a sudden, I got to be amazing. I'm amazing. Right. You know, I experimented with recipes, instinctively knowing what worked and didn't work. I was like, where is all of this coming from? I'm like, I don't know. It was a dormant gene, like we were talking about. You know, you have a predisposition for something that didn't activate until later in my life. I actually was doing a play in Pasadena, and I got this thought in the middle of the night to bake a cake. The play was stressing me out, and I was like, you don't bake. And it was like, bake a cake, and I was like, okay. So I went not to one of my cookbooks, but I went on my online.
Right.
And looked up a whole bunch of cake recipes. The cake recipe, no, that don't look right. That don't look right. That looks interesting. Made the cake, and the director was like, "Look, you're a great actress." She said, "But if this acting thing don't work out, you could do this." And it planted a seed. I was like, "Wow!" And then I would just post on social media, and people were like, "Oh, that's a nice chocolate cake. Do you make carrot cake?" And being an actor, we always say yes. Can you do it? Can you fly a kite? Yes. Can you? Yes. We always say. I was like, "Yeah." And I would make it, and it just, you know, then a vegan influencer Tabitha Brown. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but you should follow her.
No.
Yeah, Tabitha Brown.
You know,
Okay, I will check. She's on Instagram, right?
Yeah, she's on Instagram. She's on
because I heard the name before.
And she just got a new vegan cooking show on the cooking channel called It's Complicated. But anyway, so she tasted my stuff and blew up my spot because she had, so many followers. And then the rest is history. We got into the Four Seasons Hotel. We're in multiple restaurants. We do farmers markets, have private clients and stuff like that. So it's just interesting. I came from being the one that nobody wanted to eat my stuff to being the one who actually is a better, especially vegan baker than anybody in my family.
Wow.
So it's hilarious.
But sometimes it comes out of necessity. I was going to comment when you mentioned your broccoli, solo broccoli diet. Well, you're also in an area that is not huge vegan and vegetarian.
Yeah.
Where LA is a vegan vegetarian heaven.
Yeah.
Basically oasis. And then also, she also go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say where. So I'm originally from New Jersey, right? I live in South Carolina now. Where I am, there were vegan places popping up, but they still looked like the odd man out, so to speak.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like you'll see at the food court, or not a food court, but at the where the food trucks park at. You know how you have a place where all the food trucks are. You'll have all of this stuff there, and then the vegan truck will be off to the side. Like I'm like, dog, even the Asian people, even the Chinese people are in this group, and then the vegans are you can go get even no matter what you want, right? The pizzas, Italian food truck, the Asian food truck, the all this stuff, and then the vegans are like on the other side of the parking lot by themselves up under a tree.
That's well, there still is a little bit of
especially where we are, definitely.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And then I can also comment on the dessert thing. Necessity is the mother of invention. As a wizard, I gotta go with quotes like that. Yeah. Her biggest thing about desserts was vegan desserts were the worst. And even to this day, vegan really ice cream or vegan frozen treat, because I can't really use the term ice cream. That's not dairy.
Yeah. Non-dairy.
It's non-dairy.
Yeah.
But most of them have coconut base. But I know you had a really good one the other day. I saw you on one of the shows having some.
Man, I mowed that thing down, bro. I mowed that thing down.
Wait till you taste mine.
Right.
Wait till you taste mine.
Hers
tastes like it has milk in it.
But most of them have coconut base. So hers has so that's her. I mean, her flagship product is her vegan dessert ice cream. Yeah. That's her flagship. The other dessert products happen to just simply have taken off as well.
Yeah.
So, but because of the fact she didn't find any vegan desserts and actually tasted good, they were either too dry or too bland, or they taste like something else and they weren't all the texture. She decided to, of course, invent the ones that made it taste real.
And then also wanting to not pay, that store that's now owned by that company, that big company. You know what I'm talking about? Not wanting to give them all my money. So the whole paycheck. Yeah. So I started experimenting too, because I was like, I'm gonna give them $5 and I can try to make it at home. So yeah, it's been great. But California is definitely the place to be. In terms of people embracing vegan, plant-based lifestyle.
Okay. What challenges do you? Oh well. Let me ask that last, because let me ask you this. And let you think about it, and then I'll ask you another what I find to be difficult. So, what challenges do you find, or that present themselves to you, as a Black female business owner in a niche industry? Right. I want to ask you about those challenges, right? But then I also want to ask you this first, just to give you some time to think about that one.
Okay.
All right. So sometimes human beings, and we're not perfect, sometimes we get into a mode of comfort eating. Like not eating when we're hungry, but say a meeting with a client doesn't go as expected. And I get that a lot. Yeah. Right. Like I'm thinking it's going to be one thing, and then I meet the client, and either they want too much or I can't provide what they're asking for. and all of a sudden these projections that I did are way off. Now I have to, and now I'm in my emotions, so to speak, and for lack of a better term, and I want to eat something. Did you find challenges as a vegan, and that like when it's time to be an emotional eater, and it happens to everybody. I don't care who, people can deny this all they want.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will become emotional eaters.
Absolutely.
Right?
And not even be aware of it.
And not even be exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I didn't realize it. And then I was like, why am I eating this? And I was like, oh, something disappointing just happened.
Right.
So I craved, potato chips or popcorn or,
right.
As Frank says, I start getting high on my own supply.
I got some big in there.
It's like, oh yeah, this rum cake is sure delicious with my rum raisin ice cream on top of it, and I'm just sitting on this couch, and But yeah, definitely. But I caught myself a couple of times. It was just like stuffing food in my mouth, and I was like, "What happened?" Usually it was right after something happened that was either stressful or disappointing. Yeah.
Right. Do you find being a vegan is challenging? As what I find is when I get in that mindset, then I'm closer to that breaking the vegan line than I am at other areas.
Anything that you would eat that's not vegan, you can find a vegan version of.
Okay.
Anything. I mean, it's not like it was when I first started, where everything was nasty and you had, everything was limited. But now, I mean, there's so many people. I'll send you some information. I'll give you the information, give to him. Like these sisters who will veganize anything from a ham sandwich to curry goat.
Right.
And they know what they're doing. One of them is from North Carolina. Her name is Joya.
Okay.
Her name is Joya. She's from North Carolina, and she caters and she does, personal chef stuff. And so I don't have to go to something that's non-vegan because I can get a vegan version of it. I mean, even now they have the jerky. I had some vegan jerky.
Yeah, I got some of that from Walmart a couple months ago. Yeah.
Pork rinds is one. There's a celebrity that endorses like these vegan pork rinds. There's nothing that you could crave that's not vegan that you can't find a vegan version of. So it might be junk and it might not be good for me. It might be emotional eating, but I can always find a vegan version of whatever I want.
Right. And the alternative though, and just really quickly to that, the alternative is the poison, like we're talking about, like just all of it. And so the reason why I ask that is because occasionally I'll get to that point where, and because I'm thinking about like supporting my family, not at this age, because I still feel like I'm healthy and vibrant and all that stuff. And I feel like I can be that for another 10, 15 years or so. But after a while though, I'm going to be 70. Like I'm going to get into that 70, 75-year-old range, that 80-year-old range. And prayerfully in that 85, 90-year-old range, I still want to be healthy. But I want to do something. I want to do this stuff where I'm still have the vibrancy and the energy to do these things. So I get sometimes I'll get a setback and I'll have an emotional setback. Like a professional setback for me sometimes becomes an emotional setback because out of disappointment.
Yes, I understand.
Out of disappointment, and sometimes when I get in that place, and I don't stay there long, right? But I'm not saying like 3-4 days of but I'm saying during that time, I'm like, man, I would really like I could just go to a place and I could just smash up Buffalo Wild Wings right now, right? But the missus who I attribute everything in my life that's successful. Everything that I've done successfully, I attribute to her. She finds recipes, like she can read me like a book. So she finds the vegan recipes that replicate some of this stuff.
Yes.
And it's not always perfect. So I don't want to say that, but you know what it is? It's the effort, knowing somebody cared about you being a vegan, even though she is not.
Right.
And so to that thing which you mentioned, like how you have a support system in place, kind of like in LA where a school of fish can swim safely together.
Yes.
I kind of have that here in house, even though she will eat a double cheeseburger in front of me in a heartbeat, right? But if I crave a double cheeseburger, she will try to replicate it and make one for me.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's support. That's love. That's wonderful.
And so that's one of the things that I wanted to mention. If you're a vegan, if you're considering doing a lifestyle change of any sort, if you're considering doing a lifestyle change of any sort, ensure that you have a structure and support system in place so that if the time comes where you do get to a point where you might fail, you can have somebody to pick you up and help you continue on your path. Right. So I wanted to get to this one last question real quick. I didn't know, man, it's 50 minutes, man. Yeah, I can talk, y'all. Y'all didn't know I can talk, man.
We don't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time, but
it's good.
But I want to get to the question though, as being a Black female that aspires to say whatever number of things, whatever goals that you have, do you find that you are presented with a lot of challenges, and especially in this niche market that we consider a vegan lifestyle?
Well, I feel like post all of the, Aubrey and George Floyd, and I feel like there's a lot of support for Black women business owners. I definitely feel like the tide has changed. Like there was one point where I have a business partner and we were questioning whether to put my picture on the label of the ice cream.
Right.
And he was like, no, we don't want to do that because, people might see it and not want to buy it because it belongs to a Black woman. And then when everything turned and everybody's like throwing money at Black people and Black women in particular, trying to show their support, all the woke people, it's a great time.
Now he said, but we need 2 pictures of you on it now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They'll get it. I'm telling you, because we don't live in an area that is, had a lot of people with melanin in it. And the support that I get at the farmers market, with the first day we did the farmers market, all the clear people would come up and say to us, oh, you're such a breath of fresh air. And we were like, why are they all saying that? You're so nice to see. Just coming on. I'm not vegan, but now I'm just going to buy. Oh, just give me the $20 tip, just like that. And then the Black people came and they were like, oh, man, we ain't never seen no Black people here, and we were like, oh, that's what was happening. They were like, hey, let's support this Black woman because of everything that's going on in the world, and we don't know what else to do but support. So in that, I find that the tide has definitely changed, and there are a lot of like grants and programs and people who really want to support Black female entrepreneurs. The challenge for me is because I don't come from a business background. I'm not the best at math. I don't have any of the kind of skills that you would think someone who's, going to be a success in business would have. Then those are when the challenges come in. So I have a support system. I have a partner. I have my husband. I have a couple of other people to support me in the areas where I'm not strong. And so that's the main thing, like really switching my mindset to a entrepreneur business mindset after coming from a creative mindset, being an actor, a singer, and, documentary film producer. So that's the thing, the learning curve.
Wait a minute, you produce documentaries also?
I actually have my first one, hopefully will be out in 2023. It's on fibroid tumors. It's called The F Word. And it's, really highlights unnecessary hysterectomies for fibroid tumors. And as you know, fibroid tumors affects women of color, more often than other women, but all women can be affected by it. So my mind was always, and my energy was always in that type of creation. So now getting into business mode and receipts and how much I pay for that and how much it costs me to make something, because I want to get on Shark Tank eventually. I got to know my numbers. That's when wisdom's gonna come in.
Wisdom. You gotta be on your game because Mark Cuban does not play.
He don't play. Yep. So I'm gonna charm him with the goodies, and he gonna come in with the numbers.
With the math.
So that's been the most challenging thing, just coming into a world that is foreign to me, and the learning curve of that. But I've been doing pretty good, and I have a good support system, and there's more to learn, and I'm open to learning it.
Always more to learn. So, So for those watching, I would like for you to tell them the name of the company
Mm-hmm.
and where they can find your products, and if you offer services to them in a local, regional, or national level, and where they can find you on social media. And what I'll do is on the edit version of this, what I'll do is I'll list it at the bottom, and then that way to go along with what you.
Great. So on all socials, I'm Mama Auntie's Vegan Goodies. Mama Auntie's Vegan Goodies. And what was the other part of the question?
Website.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the website is www. Of course, I don't need to say that. As you always say, you don't have to say the www part. But Mama Auntie's vegangoodies.com.
Okay.
We do ship. And people in the local Los Angeles area can see us at farmers markets. We're on DoorDash and Grubhub. Various restaurants in the Los Angeles area. And if someone is out of town, then definitely go to the website, place your order, and then we'll ship it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, thank you guys, man.
Thank you.
This has been excellent.
Thank you.
So I learned a lot.
And welcome to the tribe.
And well, thank you. Thank you. And so I wanted to get another vegan on so that we can speak to the fact that it's a lifestyle, and it's not just
it's a total
it's not a fashion, it's not a style, right? It's a way of life. You got to commit to it and be committed to it.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So again, thank y'all for coming through.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. So we're going to show this interview, on Vibes and Stuff live in the mornings. Probably Monday and Tuesday. We'll probably have to cut it into sections. Maybe do one Monday and then do another maybe Wednesday.
Perfect. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank y'all. Y'all
and enjoy your goodies.
I'm about to. Trust me. Trust me. That 10 is not going to stand a chance. Trust me. Trust me. So, but thanks again, y'all. Wisdom, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Again. I don't know. Hey, so where you been hiding Wisdom at? Wiz, why you not on the internet, bro?
Why you not on the internet?
No, you. Yeah. Why you talking why he's not on the internet? Yeah. Why you not on the internet?
I'm just observing and learning. I'm behind the scenes kind of guy. So I'm the money man or the back end person. That's my goal. It's to be supposed to be
an executive producer.
Exactly.
Oh,
yep.
Philanthropy. Yeah, what I was gonna say, what's your expertise? Humble pie. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for y'all time.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you
have
so
a good day, all right?
You
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.